just to taste, brew, and enjoy. Now I wonder if this smells like pumpkin spice. Surprisingly, it does not, and that would have been a great opportunity, if you ask me. But so far, the deck looks pretty nice. I like it so far. Let me know what you think. Let's place our predictions on the night, as that is a very lovely back design to this one. Anyway, how are you, my friend? I hope you've been well, and that you're ready to play some Solitaire. We continue through our journey to 1000 with what seems to be a very lovely deck. And you know what? Let's start with the question. Are you a coffee at night person? I don't have too much of a routine at the moment. It's kind of everywhere. But I do enjoy a nice coffee at night. And another question, as you get yourself nice and comfy, my friend, is what is your favorite type of coffee? Now that could be from a specific place, a restaurant, a coffee creamer, a whole bean roast, a ground roast. It could be anything. So for myself, I think my favorite coffee, that's actually kind of tough, come to think of it. Do you ever just get into moods where coffee just sounds amazing? And then other times it's more of like, I guess, a soda, to where it seems a bit unnecessary. I like warm coffee, I like cold coffee, I like chilled coffee, I like room temp coffee. I enjoy completely dark coffee. I enjoy light coffee. Another game. How many times is coffee gonna be said tonight? My guess is north of 50. I honestly think my favorite coffee is from AM PM. Not because of the flavor, but because of the experience. I like making myself my own creations in a sense. And at AM PM, you have a wide variety of what you can put together. A decent amount of baseline options, as well as toppings. But what makes it best with the experience is typically when I get AM PM coffee, I am going out of town on a trip, and it makes it so much more enjoyable having a warm cup of coffee early in the morning, just how you like it, to just sip on as we have triple jacks on the field. In high school, I used to like the occasional Starbucks coffee or Frappuccino. Honestly, it's barely coffee. And then I got into brewing lots of Keurig coffee at the house. push us forward. As there's nowhere for that 5, king, 7, or 2. On to game number 2. Donut shop coffee is just a really nice, I guess, light roast. I guess it's good for beginners, I suppose. But I think the more you get into coffee, the darker the roast you enjoy. Honestly, this is making me want to have a cup of coffee. I remember this one time, I believe my junior or senior year of high school, I had an assignment due, and I think I was in one of my moods where I liked doing things last minute, even though I knew I shouldn't have, because it felt like I just did better in those situations and being more effective. Honestly, it's either way sometimes. Last minute can be fun, but if you do it right, it's good. If you do it wrong, it's stressful. But this night, in particular, I believe I had like something to the effect of an 8-page essay due, a research essay, to where I did almost no research, didn't format my paper, and I just, if anything, I don't think I did anything, come to think of it. So on this night, I believe I started at 9 p.m. because I napped from getting back from school to give myself some energy. And right when I woke up at 9, or I was just ready and it was go time, did we really just get swept? Okay, now triple jacks once again. And throughout the night, I would make myself a cup of coffee, not because I was needing energy, but just to keep myself hydrated, and I just really enjoyed the taste. And no joke, I made a game of it because I am, if you couldn't tell, I like numbers and I'm slightly competitive in being repetitive. And in that night, I ended up, we'll wait off on that one, drinking 13 cups of coffee. I know some of you are very skeptical of that number, appropriately so, in my opinion. But let me explain why it was 13. So 13 is one of those numbers I just enjoy seeing because of baseball and baseball players. And I've always made that one of my numbers, my repetitive numbers, to strive towards. And I think that is, we'll keep it at that for now. And that is like a simple thing to remember, but what I remember the most is that for each cup of coffee I drank, I got myself a new coffee cup as the night grew closer to the morning, I realized I'm close to 13, so let's do it. And I remember on my old phone I took a picture of all of the coffee cups that I consumed, and it was just ridiculous because I would be in my room, jump out to make coffee, grab a new mug, and go back to work. That was my break. Okay. So, in that process, I took a picture afterwards, as there's nowhere for that 7, and it looks like that's it for this game, unfortunately. Dang, 2 of clubs really keeping us back, and a black queen. Very close, lots of cards just missing, but a good one at that, as we still play without a fat stack. But here's the part that I think was a good sign. I, at the time, was a very healthy, larger individual. I would exercise fairly regularly and aggressively. And when I mellowed out, it was pretty easy for me to keep myself under control. Like I was probably near my best shape I've been in my life ever, and my resting heart rate was just ridiculously low. So I think the caffeine typically would raise someone's heart rate probably after 5 cups, because I didn't know it at the time, but too much caffeine consumption, even in coffee, can be very, very fatal. And I think what helped me that night was a light roast coffee in the donut shop, and the Keurig machine not working at its best capacity. Since I think there's like an 8, 10, 12 ounce option with a heavy brew, and I did 1 brew per Keurig cup. Lots, or not lots, but probably a little more than a serving of creamer, and just constant water to keep myself hydrated, besides the coffee. So 13 cups of coffee in one night, and I didn't think anything of it. Until the morning time when I was told that was very, very stupid. But I did finish my paper in about, I think by 4 in the morning. So I was able to get some extra rest after all of that coffee. And that story lasted much longer than I thought it would. There we go. I was about to say, these games don't feel like they're it tonight, but that can change with just a couple well-timed plays. this one's a little bit of a slow bleed, but can we capitalize is the question. Oh my goodness. Not what we needed right now. A black 6 would be nice though, to give us our first fat stack. But it looks like we will fall just a bit short once again. So all plays on the field. Now we're for that 2, 3, 8, or 4. And we move on to our 4th game of the night without a fat stack and without a win. There has to be something nasty in this one. Surprisingly, we just elude a triplet. Let's go with another casino shuffle. I think tonight, this is our game. For whatever reason, it feels like game number 4 is one of our luckiest games. Oh, now that would be quite an interesting stat. Our win percentage for each game of the night. So I wonder how many times in our episode so far that we've won on the first game. My guess would be, let's think about this realistically. We probably win 1 out of every 10 games. So that is a 10% win percentage. So distribute that amongst each game. So we probably have a 2% win percentage. That seems wrong. Okay, I am too tired. My brain is done for tonight, but I know you can figure it out. But that would be quite the fun stat to figure out. How many wins in our first game? How many wins in our second game? Third, 4th, and 5th. And then in our specials, we can then go upwards to, I believe, 30. Alright, let's give this deck its reading. So, the cards don't have much texture to them. They are fairly slick. They're a bit on the waxy side, if that, since it doesn't have much of that texture you want in a playing card. It has a nice design, simple done well. I like the coloring. It's soft and sweet. The back design is much of the same. So despite the textural issues and handling, I think a 7.5 is fair. Lots of good, glimpses of great, with a little bad as we earn our first fat stack of the night. And there's another stat. How many fat stacks per game? And which game gives us the best chance at a fat stack? God, numbers could be so fun, and we have such a large sample size that it could just give us a lot. 4 games in a row with a triplet on the field. Nowhere for that king. 4, 6, 9, or 7. Unfortunately, we could play that too, but it would not lead to anything without an orange ace. At least we got a fat stack. But now we're down to our final chance of the night. Surprisingly, no triplets still, I believe. Let's give this deck 5 shuffles. Riffle shuffles. With some side cuts. And let's do this. I feel like we've seen that Jack of Clubs every game tonight with his silly little loaf of bread. And you know what? Comment loaf and your name if you'd like to be part of the secret deck. And also comment a doodle that you'd like me to do. Feels like I haven't done that in a bit. So if you'd like to be part of our secret deck, there you go. And we have ourselves another battle for this one. Let's take the risk. Oh, and that is even worse, because now, if we can't make a play, we are done. And we made a play. Well, this isn't looking too promising, unless we get a black queen. And we just elude her. Well, tonight we officially got roasted, as there's nowhere for that Jack, 7, 6, 10, 2, or queen. Nothing left on the field. Our first game without a triplet remaining, but double 9s, 10s, and 4s, I believe. Let's see the nasty. Triple 7s. And that can't be it. next time.